Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, the podcast that reviews the movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 646, and it is your review of I Do Not Care If We Go Down in History as Barbarians. As always, it is the Nerd Gonna Cure the host, show lost my wonderful co host, Brad Young Yoda.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a wonderful Thursday evening.
Live and early for our patrons over at patreon.com/the nerdcore, where you can get this episode live and you can interact with us in the chat, and you get this early before anybody else gets to watch it or listen to it on Saturdays at 12 p.m. over at the $1 tier at patreon.com/the nerdcore. Brad, how are you doing today, man?
I'm all right.
All right, that was pretty simple.
I have nothing to report today. I'm just
had me thinking you were about to let one out, man. You're like, I had the worst fucking day of my life today, man.
No, it was all right. It was all right. No, nothing big to do ones. So
nothing
okay.
big happened today, I guess.
Nah, uneventful. So,
all right,
nothing to report.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Work was all right.
It was work. It was literally nothing happened today, which is good and bad at the same time.
You forget the subtitle to this title, but I do care if we go down in history as bards.
But I do care if we go down in history as Brads.
Brads. Yeah. I went into work today and I just went to work and I had to I met somebody today, Brad, who shares my exact love of Cronenberg and body horror. She's a big fan of Cronenberg. And both of our favorite Cronenbergs are Crash, so I was really happy about that.
Did you get her letterbox?
Damn straight, and she didn't fucking unfollow me, bro.
Oh, that's rough.
No, bro, it just happens, bro. It happens, bro. It's okay, Brad. No,
people
ain't
be
nothing
assholes,
to be.
Man.
Yeah. Funny enough, I'll talk to you after about that after we're done here. But yeah. With that said, though, that's all that went down today, man. I'm just kind of waiting to see if mail's gonna get here or not. But other than that, just another wonderful Thursday, Brad. I think tomorrow I'm gonna go see the Book of Clarence, that film with Lakeith Stanfield. Lakeith Stanfield is in it. I'm not entirely sure how I can explain to you what it's about, Brad.
I'm guessing it's a book that Clarence wrote.
I have no idea, Brad. Oh. I haven't even seen the trailer. I've seen the poster.
I mean, that's usually how it goes. Like the Book of Mark. It's usually written
the Book
by
of
that
John.
person. Yeah, it's kind of written by that individual. So I'm guessing Clarence wrote a book.
It says a down on his luck man struggles to find a better life for his family while fighting to free himself of debt. Captivated by the power and glory of the rising Messiah, he risks everything to carve his own path to a divine life, ultimately discovering that the redemptive power of belief may be his only way out.
So it's a cult movie.
I guess. Is it supposed to be about religious? I don't know.
Stacey's asking, it's not a sequel to the Book of Boba Fett.
No, not at all, my friend. Not at all.
No, that's just Mandalorian 2.75 at this point.
Yeah. Lakeith Stanfield's in it. Anna Diop is in it. Omar Sy. Yeah. Oh, Caleb McLaughlin from what's it called? Stranger Things. Yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch. What the fuck? And James McAvoy too.
That's interesting.
But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what this is about, Brad. But all I know is that it's called the Book of Clarence.
Well, all right.
Yeah. But other than that, Brad, I ain't really got much to report like you either, Brad.
I mean, it's gotta be better than Aquaman 2.
One would hope so, Brad. But Brad, Did you not see that they want to bring a what's it called a director's cut of it? 'Cause that's not the movie that was written, Brad.
I'm just gonna bring up the Tommy Lee Jones meme that goes, "I don't care."
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Anytime now, the is it the DCEU? That's what the old one is, DCEU, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Anytime that's brought up anymore, I don't care.
It's done, Brad. Why
I
the fuck
moved
are we
on.
still having
I
these
moved on.
conversations?
I don't care.
It's over. It's
Yeah,
dead.
it's dead.
I'm
It's been
focused
killed.
on whatever James Wan is doing now. I don't care about the DCU anymore.
No, I do not care. I just want another season of Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
That's what I want, with a new opening scene.
James Gunn said that he all he needs to do is write the finale, and he's done with writing season 2. So
That's great.
yeah,
Film,
but yeah,
film it, James Gunn.
yeah,
Put your brother in it.
yeah. With that said, though, I guess let's go ahead and get into this, Brad. It's been a while since we've had to do a spoiler warning for a movie, so let's go ahead and do that right now. Um, so if you have not seen, I do not care if we go down in history as barbarians. You should probably get out of here. But if you've seen the film, or you just don't care about spoilers, go ahead and stay. Either way, how it goes, this is your one and only spoiler warning, and it is in effect in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today's introduction is going to be a mixture of 3 different sources, my friends. Where I'm going to read from Vinegar Syndrome first. I'm going to read a little bit of the what's it called of the credits here from Wikipedia, and then we'll read some trivia from IMDb. Because guess what, man?
Because
What's it
it's only
called?
2 sentences.
2 sentences long. So I do not care if we go down in history as barbarians. These were the words spoken by Romania's military dictator Marshal Ion Antonescu in the Council of Ministers in the summer of 1941 that started the ethnic cleansing on the Eastern Front. One of contemporary Europe's most distinctive creators, Jude has come out with an ingenuously conceived film. While it unfolds slowly and in detail, it hits the viewer with a singular emotional punch. I do not care if we go down in history as barbarians, chronicles a young theater director's efforts to stage an accurate reenactment of the Odessa massacre, in which Romanian soldiers slaughtered tens of thousands of Ukrainian Jews, despite the municipal government's attempt to censor the director's efforts. Her choice angers a city official who threatens to close the production because of its anti-Romanian take on history. However, the reaction to the stage play is one that neither anticipated. This internationally acclaimed dark satire is a timely statement about the consequences of selective and willful amnesia on a society fueled by populist sentiments. And of course, it is you see, Brad, that's the thing. That's where I got that number for, Brad. It says here like preceding the massacre of 1941 of around 34,000 Jews, Roma people, and Ukrainians.
Yeah, I think they forgot it's 0.
0, yeah.
It's more.
Um,
I think we read what 340 to 400,000.
yeah. Maybe they did miss a 0. I mean, needs to fix that. Written and directed by Radu Jude, stars Iona Jakub. Cinematography is done by Marius Panduru. Edited by Catalin Christofu.
Chris
And
Tutu. Chris Tutu.
yeah,
Ah.
sits at 2 hours and 20 minutes. And actually, no, wait, what the hell? No, this is wrong, Brad. Says it sits at 160 minutes, so that's what's it called? 2 hours and 40. That is not, man. They got it
No,
all wrong here.
no.
No, this is all wrong. All sorts of wrong. I'll double check that though. No budget, but it did make $39,177 at the box office.
It was probably played in one singular theater for like a
Probably.
week.
Yeah. In the film, Molina, played by Alexandru Dabija, presses Mariana Iona Jakub on why she is focusing on Antonescu and not communism, implying political bias. In response, she states that the next project can be about communism. Radu Jude's next project, uppercase print, focused on repression and surveillance under Romania's communist regime. He wasn't wrong. She wasn't. She. The next project was about that.
I mean, yeah.
Asked if she was comfortable with her nude scenes, Iona Yakub says it's not, and I don't think it's for anyone, but in that setting where there are so many people and care was taken to have a more intimate set, you focus on so many other things that it becomes secondary, and then you're not horrified by your own nudity. And if you're focused on what you have to do, it was weirder between shots when you would take something on, then take it off again until you actually started to enter the scene. I didn't know Serban. We met a few times. That's who played the boyfriend.
The
We met
pilot.
a few times, and we did a rehearsal. And after that, the first thing was to undress. You had this actress there, and what you wanted. You first thing you asked them was about the nudity, not about what actually is going on in this movie.
Journalist, bro. Entertainment journalist.
And yet and yet I can't what's called interview any of these high profile actors. My God. Yeah, so this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. It's
Yeah,
what's
that's
called
what I thought. I'm like,
140 minutes, not 160.
is there a director's cut somewhere?
Nah, this is the only cut, man. This is like,
Okay.
yeah, because even right here on Vinegar Syndrome with the for the what's it called for the what's it called for the Blu-ray release, it says 138 minutes.
That's why you can't trust Wikipedia.
Yeah, you see? Yeah, come on.
Try and get me to donate every year.
Yeah, and y'all be donating this year. All right, man. But yeah, I think that's a good amount of info here. Yeah, Brad, I selected this film for us to watch because, and I don't care if this makes their way to their ears, but I was supposed to do this episode for Cinema Condition. I was supposed to do this movie for Cinema Condition, and the person never responded back. I left me on scene, so I said, "Fuck you. I'm gonna fucking talk about it either way. Let's go. I'm gonna fucking tell Brad we're gonna watch this, and we're gonna watch this movie. And we're gonna talk about it because you know, I really wanted to watch this, and I wanted to do this on like a fucking setting like Cinema Condition, and
I have no opinion on the matter other than okay.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go. That's the only reason I picked it. I've been wanting to watch the movie for a while, ever since this person brought the film up to me, and I wanted to talk about this film. And I have to say, Brad, very very clever satire, and yet it is very topical, especially in this time that we're living in right now in the United States. I think it's very very
Are you talking about the nationalism going on in this?
The nationalism, the clear misinformation that people are clinging on to, the fact that we live in the year 2024, Brad, and there are people that truly do deny that the Holocaust was a real thing, was not a real thing. They're like, that goes to their head that they believe that the Holocaust never happened.
Well, some people believe the Earth is flat too, but
yeah. Now, I will understand where people, are like, would like to correct people and be like, okay, the Holocaust wasn't just Jewish people that were being murdered, which is true because it wasn't. But the idea of like, there's people that sit out here and they actually truly believe that the Holocaust never happened, that it was not possible because those numbers are way too high. It's not possible that 4 million people were murdered. And I think it's I think this movie just cleverly brings all of those things to the forefront. And I think that it's well made. I can't say it's perfect, but I think it's very essential film to watch, especially right now when in the time that we're living. But Brad, what are your initial thoughts on I do not care if we go down the history of Barbarians.
I mean, I'm no art film major. I haven't gone to class for this like Roll or some other people, and I'm sure that'll be brought up. So coming from just a regular public perspective, I would say the start of this film, getting people to like maybe stay and understand this film would be very difficult just for the regular public. I think at the beginning, because I think the beginning, it's a lot of topics that the American public just doesn't know about. Because when you talk about the Holocaust, we're thinking, oh, and
Auschwitz and
yeah,
yeah.
Auschwitz and the Germans, and we don't never think anything about like Romania. And if you think about it, there's been a lot of genocides throughout history. There's the Armenian. Hell, we watched a film on another one, um, where the UN definitely dropped the ball.
Oh yeah, Kovadis, Aida.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I mean, there's a lot of history not taught to Americans, mostly because it like didn't pertain to America, I guess, and that's always been kind of the thinking. If it didn't pertain to America, why should we know
Why
about it?
should we know it, right? If we weren't involved, why should we know it?
Yeah, if we weren't involved, why should we know it? And so I think that's kind of the struggle of this is with an American audience, is you're going to be talking about this, and every American person's going to be like, I did
What?
not know that.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Romania and mass genocide
They're like, wait, while we were
of the
getting
Jewish?
bombed, while we were getting bombed in Pearl Harbor, this was happening on the other side of the
Yeah,
world.
like that never gets talked about. But I think this film actually in the second and third act it really picks up because you have what happens is you get that government official who's paying for this film. You get him in the mix, and then you just get this really great dialogue of back and forth of him basically saying, like, yeah, I mean, writers did say that and historians did say that, but you had this one guy who said that didn't happen. So why don't we go off with that one and you just like, make it so we look in a better light. Make our country look in a better light,
Yeah.
basically. And I mean, and just the fighting back and forth between until you get really to the end. And the end really, it's really, really good. It's where the satire comes in.
Yeah.
And I left watching this like, was that actual public? Was that the actual public that showed up and was just there, or was that actors? Because they were going yay when they were talking when you had the priest talking
Dude, the
about the
motherfucker who said true.
yeah you had that and they all looked like just regular people in that crowd, like they had just showed up, like, oh, what's going
Or
on
how
here?
like when the Red Army comes out, the Bolsheviks, the
And they're
Russians,
booing.
they're like booing and telling them like bastards and everything. But when the Nazis are coming out,
They're like, yeah.
they're just or silent.
Yeah, they're silent to it, and then I mean, then you have the priest coming out and disparaging Jewish people and saying a lot of fucking shit that you know others would be slapped for.
Yeah,
And but the crowd is like, it's
they're
okay
silent.
with it.
They're like silent and they're not saying anything. And there's people who are like true.
But my favorite like moment is when they like put the camera on the main actress, and even she's kind of standing there like,
The
really?
fuck? Yeah. Which and it's just like it's willful ignorance because like the movie hammers it into you, Brad.
Yeah.
This information is right here. This
Oh,
happened.
from multiple areas. It's just people. It comes back to your opinion does not make it fact.
Yeah. Like
Your opinion does not make it fact.
and it's just and it cleverly the way that Radu Jude just does it, where it's like, okay, but why don't you make it about this? And it's like
Or
because
dumb it
that's not
down a
what we're
little,
talking about.
or lessen it,
Yeah.
or don't go fully involved in what happens. And then honestly, I thought she was burning the actress in the building. I thought she
Yeah, I
was
thought she
done
was.
with it.
Yeah. 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 I had to get a clear shot of those people that were hanging because I was like, what the fuck is that? It's like it's like
And before they had shown it as puppets, so
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was glad it wasn't actual people.
Yeah. Well,
But
because
the
before
whole
that,
but before that, she has that conversation with that one older guy, who basically says, "This is bullshit. I'm quitting," and
yeah.
he just starts disparaging her, calling her a homosexual.
Yeah. And then the one guy who like quits wants to quit because it's like what's called we're supposed to be having realism in this, and it's like the fuck are you talking about, dude? You're just trying to like what's it called sugarcoat your words to say like I don't agree with the way you're making my country look. Like if it
Yeah.
was actual realism, she has a point. Like why aren't you fucking dying here? Like Like,
And that comes down to the gist of it is th- they don't want to have a dialogue about all the shitty things their country did in the past. And let's face it, that's every country.
it's every country. It's right. It's our
That's
country right
every
now,
country.
Brad.
Nobody wants to look like the bad guy, or nobody wants to admit to their faults. Like they
Yeah.
want to be like, I have been great and good in everything I've done. My country has done, and
But
it's
like
just not true for any country.
the way that we can move on and the way that we could actually work towards mending some of these relations is to understand where we come from and where we stand. And
And
it's
to
like
not
it's
make the same
happening.
mistakes.
Yeah, and it's like, and at this point is like, and I hate to regurgitate this because it's like, you know, people always be like, "Oh, big government this, big government that," but it's only they always want to bring that up when it's like something against what they believe. But it's the truth. Now, government wants to make that decision for us and say like, "No, you can't teach this to students.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't.
on
You can't
either
have
side,
these books."
they just want government to do what they want.
Yeah,
That's, I mean, big or small, like it doesn't matter as long as the government does what they want it to do.
yeah. And it's like, oh no, you can't teach my child about the Trail of Tears. I don't want him. I want him to learn that from me, so that way I can give him the misinformation that he can consume. And it's like, then you're leading these people into like this, like what's it called? Just
Well, this is where you get that bubble society
yeah,
of everyone just thinking the same, and then those opinions that they have, they think are facts, and
yeah,
it's not.
yeah. It's why the community notes are a fucking thing on Twitter.
It's true. I think Elon was the third most to have community notes
Yeah,
on him.
yeah. And this film shows that, Brad, because it's like, and you can't even say like, oh, it's only the older generation. Everybody is responsible for it.
Yeah,
Because like, okay, there's some who don't want to do it because they don't like the way it makes their country look. Okay, then there's some other ones like, well, no, I don't want to be involved with Roma. Like I was fine with having the Jewish people in this. And it's like, but now you've got like Roma here, and like I don't want to be associated with them. And
yeah, yeah. And it's just like, what's
it's
the
like, but they were part of this. Like they were part of this history. It's like, yeah, but like I don't want to be with them. I don't want to be associated with
like? Can
them.
you film them separate? And it was just a very weird. I mean, this film brings up a lot of weird moments because this director has to face.
What do you mean? President Kennedy has told us America's not a racist country. Just don't ask Malcolm or Martin. Yeah, yeah. And it's like I said, it's very topical to where we're living in right now because it's like we have all these people who I said in my letterbox reviews, we have fucking misinformation that is like spreading like wildfire, and we have conspiracy theories that are like poisoning our youth here. And it's like,
I mean, and on the political spectrum, that can come from either side,
yeah,
not from
they
one side
can.
or another. It's coming from. I mean, the internet is a great thing, but also it is the most horrible wasteland you've ever seen, and it's just gotten worse for the past
Yeah,
15 years.
yeah. And it's just it's just it's disgusting. This film like really shows it, man. And it's like, and I agree with you, Brad. It's like in the beginning, it's like what's it called. If you want to try to hook your audience, it's gonna be hard to hook them. But if that audience stays, Brad, I think that third act is so rewarding.
Well, I think it begins, like I said, it begins in that second log, with that second act when she starts the
Yeah,
dialogue with the government official, and
yeah,
that dialogue, because you're like glued to that. You're kind of just like, okay, okay, and then what he's gonna say? Oh, he's gonna say, oh, I want to make my country look good, and what's she gonna say? She's gonna be like, fuck you.
yeah, yeah.
But
Because
and it's just the way like they were playing it is like, well, I have like 10 historians here, and I've read all these books, and they said this, and then he's like, yeah, well, the one guy disagreed. And
yeah,
that's basically how it goes. It's just like, yeah, the one guy kind of disagreed, and you had in that whole crowd scene where it's like, yeah, like he actually saved the Jews. And it's like, no, not at
no,
all.
no, he didn't.
No, where are you getting that? That is no.
Yeah, it's like where the fuck do you get this idea? Oh my god! But clever film. I think it's a clever satire. I don't think
Yeah.
it's perfect. I think that
No.
I think that there's like I've just seen this type of movie be done better. I've seen this type of movie done better. I think that it's very clever with its humor too. I like that they kind of try to bring up this, what's it called, the background life of this director. I don't think it's executed as great. Um, because
I
like at the end of it, I was like, okay, so what were we going on about this baby thing for then?
I don't know. Yeah, that kind of died.
Yeah,
I don't know if
and I
the
was like,
baby. I don't know if the baby did, but
well, yeah, it's like, wait, so like,
that whole dialogue. There was really no point for her. Like, there was no point for like this relationship thing. I'm not sure where they
yeah,
were getting at with that.
I think the only reason was like to have that first dialogue with the boyfriend in the beginning where he was like, what's it called? Like, oh man, they're always complaining about something. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, and maybe he did bring up like, why don't you just have an abortion? Aren't you a feminist? And she's
Yeah,
like, well, yes, that's why I can, fucking choose that for myself.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't have to be a part of this.
yeah. I guess that it has a bigger, like, what's it called, sense to it. What's
I
it
don't, I
called? But
don't, I don't, I thought sometimes, I don't know if it was misplaced in that, but it didn't have as much, you know, details for the story that everything else did. There were like most of the other moments in this film, they were part
yeah,
of this bigger story that actually worked, and that seems like something that might have been thought of the thrown in, and the
yeah,
director might have had an idea of why he wanted to do that, but I don't
yeah.
know.
Maybe those are missing 18 minutes that are like in the
Yeah, it's like
movie.
I just need to make 20 minutes on here.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that was really useful for, but I still thought it was a very effective movie. I thought it was
I
very effective, and
I do agree with you though, because the first part, I think if you're the regular watching public, the first part is not gonna hook them.
no,
I
it's
just,
not.
it's a difference, guys. When Raul's like, we're watching this for a review, and I have to sit here and actually watch the movies. I can't like just like, nah, I ain't doing it. Where I can see just the regular public being what 40 minutes in that first,
Yeah,
and just being like, nah, I mean, it's just not catching me. But if you can make it through that,
yeah.
it's
It's
a
very
very,
rewarding.
very
Very
phenomenal
rewarding.
movie.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah. Other than that, Brad, what's your final verdict?
Then we're gonna mm, this one's a little weird because like 2/3 of it are good. It's just that first one.
Yeah.
I think I'll give it a 7.5, 7.5 out of 10.
All right, I'm giving it a 9. I think it's very effective. I just think that it's just I've seen it done better before, but I think that it's very effective. I think that the satire is like, there's parts where it's like, okay, I'm actually am laughing at this stuff, and
Yeah,
um, but I
I
think,
think it's good. I just think that first act is going to turn people off.
yeah, yeah. Also, like, also, if you're just not used to the style of like these black comedy satires, it's gonna kind of shoot over your head at times, some stuff.
I think the audience, like, I think if I was European, it'd be a whole different story because I would probably know this,
Yeah,
and I
but
would have
also
figured
doesn't
out
that
what they were talking about at the beginning.
doesn't that also say a lot about us, Brad? Yeah,
Yeah,
that says a lot about us,
about our culture and
and maybe
our
that's the point of
education.
this. Maybe that's the point of this, Brad. Like, maybe that's what Rudu Jude's was expecting for at least the overseas crowd. It
Yeah,
was the idea of like, well, then why the fuck are we learning about this? Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of those moments.
yeah. Then again, all I know is how I felt about it. I'm going with a 9. I'm going with a 9 out of 10. But yeah, that's our review of I don't care if we're going down in history as Barbarians. And as always, we thank you all so much for joining us. As always, you can check our website at thenerdcore.com. Twitter's at the nerdcore underscore. Instagram is at the nerdcore. Patreon.com/the nerdcore for $1 a month. You get this episode live and early before anybody else gets to watch it. TikTok is at the nerdcore. Threads as well as at the nerdcore. Discord is in our description below. Our link is in the description, so go and check that out. Um, of course, leave a comment, y'all. What do you think about this film? Also, like, what Do you think we're missing the point of some of these things, or what? What? Tell us. Tell us. We want to know about it. So,
or maybe we're missing some information that we don't know about.
Yeah, yeah. Please just don't get any misinformation people in here. Yeah. That's all I ask for. That's all I ask for. These days, you can't tell with YouTube, Brad. This day, you can't tell. Yeah. Someone's gonna put in there in the fucking comments, "You fucking idiots! The Holocaust didn't happen."
My political affiliation is I don't like either of them.
Yeah. And I don't like you if you fucking refuse to believe that 4 million Jewish people were actually murdered. And
I mean, because a lot of those people with random number tattoos, they'll tell
Yeah.
you what.
imagine that. Just that's the part that pisses me off. That you imagine if you could sit in front of somebody who has numbers tattooed on their arm
Be like, you
and tell them your experience didn't happen.
I mean, I would hope the same thing would happen to what not Buzz Lightyear, Jesus Christ.
Buzz
Buzz
Aldrin,
Aldrin, what Buzz Aldrin did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you stupid?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Imagine that.
Stanley Kubrick's great and all, but I don't think he recreated the moon.
Yeah. Man will want to have to do like 300 shots, 300
Yeah,
takes, bro.
you'd be like, you gotta jump more.
Yeah, you're doing
Another
it wrong,
one.
man.
Another
Yeah.
one.
But yeah. As always, if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so you don't miss a single review that drops on the channel. And of course, if you're listening to this on the audio side of things, make sure that you're leaving a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app of choice, and make sure you're following us on your podcast apps. Please, we would really appreciate that. All that helps us out so much. For now, we're done. We'll see you all during the live show, guys. We're gonna have a stacked week. We've got on Friday, we've got a Echo review, and then on Saturday we got True Detective Night Country episode 1 review, and then on Sunday, hopefully, crossing our fingers, True Detective episode Night Country episode 2 review for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, guys. I was actually not aware that True Detective premiered last week, or we would have actually done a review on Sunday night.
And to be honest, we were waiting for it. Like we had it's the 14th, and then the 15th rolled around. We're like,
oh shit! It's like, oh shit, man! This show came
that's
out.
what we really wanted to watch.
Yeah. So we'll be starting on that, y'all. I'm glad that we're starting to actually get films, TV shows that we want to watch. So we'll keep you all posted on that.
Yeah, because we do like covering the TV shows for sure.
Yeah. But with that said, Brad, let's get him out of here.
All right, Earl. Thank you, host as always. Thank you to Stacy for joining us in chat today. Thank you to our listeners out there, all our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode, no, you cannot run tanks in the city square. You'll break the concrete. Young Yoda out. Do it, Stacy.